All right, so I am done spending in this game. I noticed a pattern that kind of was pissing me off in the betas and all that. However, it does seem to be more of the same way as this game goes on. Unfortunately, they're doing the deal where the game was super expensive at the start and now they're starting to make the game cheaper. I think essentially what's happening, if you look into the shop here, they're adding these offers because they realize that people are starting to hit the point of having capped out their cash, and I think they're starting to lower the prices on purpose because there's a giant flaw in the game. If you want to know what the giant flaw is, when you have a hero completely maxed out, there's zero reason to have more of those heroes. Like if you look here, look at all these epics I have. Look at these. There's pulling an epic does nothing for me right now. Nothing, okay? And I've never played a gasha game that has that. In fact, it's arguable the majority of the legendaries I pull aren't going to do anything for me either. There's only a few legendaries I don't really have, and they're the light dark ones. You could say, well, that's because you're a whale. Well, yes, I would admit it is because I'm a whale, but I've only spent a few grand. Like in gasha games, you're supposed to spend dozens of thousands of dollars. I'm not saying you're supposed to, like I want that to happen. I'm saying that's typically the economy of the games that I've been in. Like I've seen almost every gasha game I've been in be exceedingly more expensive. So because of that, what happens is you really rush to the end game pretty quickly when you well out. Well, the problem is in gasha games, you have to have the wells both welling out, but continuing to well out to keep the game extremely popular, because if they're going to pump money in advertising and all that, they basically have to continue to milk the wells. That's just how these games go, okay? I'm not sitting here doing a sales pitch about arguing the morals of it. I just want to tell you how it is so you know. That's basically what keeps these gasha games going. The problem is there's no reason to have duplicates. You could say that there is a reason to have duplicates. I'll talk about why it's important to have reason for duplicates in a moment. And with the Hero Essence shop, because you can go and you can buy stuff here. But the Hero Essence shop, you can only use epics and legendaries to buy more shards. You literally can't do anything else with it. And then you get the ancient Crystal one, which is 10% chance for legendary, and on top of it there's no way to get like the guaranteed legendary shard, or anything. You can't, you know, trade in 5 legendaries and get another guaranteed legendary or anything like that. So people are either starting to hit that point or very quickly going to hit that point if they're spending money where diminishing returns are happening and the money you get is not worth it at all anymore, other than just like those diamond monthly passes. This is actually a huge fundamental problem with the game, because when whales leave the game, so do the people that make the game. Basically, they're going to keep the game going until it is no longer profitable. The free-to-play people who are playing every day are loving the game because there's plenty to do, plenty of traction to be made. They're actually pretty generous with the free-to-play side of things. But the actual pay-to-play side of it is very disappointing because you can't really effectively buy gear. So people don't want to well out on gear just to bypass the grind, for instance, you can't really do. And again, I'm not arguing morals or saying that's what it needs to be or how that would affect gameplay or anything. All I'm doing is explaining reasons why I'm not spending money anymore. That's it, okay? So you can't buy gear if you want to bypass any gear grind in order to, like, let's say I needed like a really good set of rebel gear to test the hero or something. You can't do that. Glyph farming in this game is not monetized either, meaning if you're wanting to well on something, you can't well on glyphs. You can only well on diamonds, and then you have to farm a thing anyway. Yes, we can use the auto clicker, use the links down below. But other than that, it's a pretty frustrating process. When you buy heroes, which is normally what whales do with dopamine, there isn't anything you can do when you get a legendary you already have if it's maxed out, other than just trade it for literally more shards that would just give you more heroes you already have. So the dopamine ends early on you. Like, there's not a reason to get addicted to the gambling of the game, because it's a casino that closes its doors to you very quickly. And that is really not good for longevity of these type of games. Now, I'm going to explain why. They're doing these 300% summoning events, which mean you have a higher chance to pull a legendary, okay? And they came out with a new legendary like God Fairy, so they came out with 300% chance to pull this hero. The problem is, even though it's a 300% chance to pull that hero, you know, over what he would normally be, it's still not even like a 1 in, 3 chance or something to get the hero. And if you are the type of person that has to get that 300% chance in order to hope that you're not wasting other legendaries, basically like me. Like, look, if during 300% chance I had to hope I didn't pull a Lydia or a Ganglio, and I'm getting really close to that also being Blackhorn, Mythasia, and Yolanda, and when I'm at that point, that's 5 legendaries that I can't pull. That's not a good spot to be if you want me to continue to log on and hand you money every day. That's basically my thesis of the video. And so because of that, there is I don't know if it's just me, but I'd be curious to know how you guys feel about this. The larger whales, I've already talked to a few larger whales in multiple games I've played that have gone from every mobile game I've played to others that have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And some of them are literally already moving on because you have to understand whales need to be able to continue to spend money to be interested in staying in these games. It's just the facts, okay? Very rarely does somebody spend $10,000 in 2 months and then $0 in the next 2 years and continue to play the game. That's just not typically how that demographic works out. And this is a gaping hole in the essentially their way that they're monetizing their game for that demographic. You might be able to argue this game is significantly better for the people that are only going to spend a few dollars, and that's a great point. I would agree with you, and many times you can see populations in games argue if you lower the prices, you'll get, death by 1,000 cuts. It's better to have 1,000 pack offers of $5 getting purchased than one of $1,000 getting purchased. And that's a fair point to make. Unfortunately, I don't think that's actually true in the gasha gaming category. I would say with quality products and things like that in the real world, yes. In gasha gaming space, it's very much an anomaly. The data is actually the reverse of what you would think. It's very often the more unfriendly and expensive it is, the more money they make because of things I've broken down on my main channel, with the video Let's Go Whaling. I've talked about that and reacted and reviewed that one too, where we basically break down the theorem as to why whales want to spend more money than they should, etc. So if you just want to know the title of the video, and the answer is I'm done spending money in this game, and the answer for that is the things I laid out, but more importantly, it's because the value of the dollar goes down as you spend more dollars. This is diminishing returns at its core. This is something that I have talked about in other games and is not unique to this game. However, this game's version of diminishing returns are exceptionally punishing.